There comes a point in life when the clock slows down, the crowd thins out, and the noise that once filled your days begins to quiet. You reach a season where you don't need to prove anything to anybody. You walked through fire, stood through storms, and survived losses that would have broken lesser men. You've loved deeply, worked hard, sacrificed much, and now more than ever you deserve rest, dignity, and peace. But sadly, that's not always what we're given. Sometimes, as the hair turns gray and the steps grow slower, the world grows colder. There are people, yes, even those who carry your last name, who forget who you are. They forget the strength it took to build the foundation they now walk on. They forget the nights you stayed awake, the days you gave up your own dreams, the hours you spent pouring love into their future. And they begin to talk to you like you're less. They roll their eyes when you speak, cut you off in conversations, and treat your presence like it's a burden. Let me tell you something, age does not deserve dishonor. Wisdom should never be met with sarcasm. And someone who disrespects you, whether it's a stranger or your own flesh and blood, should not have the power to sit in the sacred space of your peace. Because at this stage of life, you're not here to beg for kindness. You're not here to entertain disrespect. You've earned the right to be spoken to with honor, to be looked at with reverence, to be embraced with the same love you spent your years giving out. Disrespect doesn't always come with loud voices. Sometimes it's in the way they ignore you when you walk into the room. It's in the way they make decisions about your life without asking you. It's in the way they laugh when you share your memories as if your experiences are no longer relevant in a world that seems to move faster than ever. And if you're not careful, you start believing them. You start shrinking. You start second-guessing your voice. You stop telling your stories, and worse, you stop praying with authority. You begin to doubt if your value still holds weight in this world. But I came to remind you, God doesn't retire His children. He doesn't put them on a shelf. He doesn't stop using you just because time has moved forward. In fact, the older you get, the more powerful your presence becomes if you walk in it. This world might forget your worth, but heaven doesn't. The people around you might grow tired of your advice, but God still listens when you speak. Don't you dare let the disrespect of others redefine what God has always called good. So yes, in old age, there are people you must avoid, not out of bitterness, not out of pride, but out of protection. Because peace is a gift, and disrespect is a thief. And some people, regardless of their relation to you, will drain your joy if you keep giving them access to it. You've carried enough. You've suffered enough. You don't need to sit at tables where your soul isn't safe. Walk away with grace. Love them from a distance. Forgive them, yes. But understand that forgiveness does not mean access. You can bless them in prayer without allowing them to belittle you in person. And if you're feeling lonely because you had to let certain people go, remember this: God never withdraws from the faithful. He fills the space they leave behind with His presence. He surrounds the humble with honor. And He knows how to send people into your life, even in old age, who will speak to you with the respect you deserve, who will look at you and see a living testimony, not a fading voice. You are not invisible. You are not done. And you are not disrespected in the eyes of the one who formed you. So stop shrinking. Lift your head. And if necessary, be alone with your honor rather than surrounded with dishonor. Because dignity in solitude is far greater than shame in company. There's something quiet and dangerous that creeps into your life as you grow older. It's not sickness, it's not weakness, it's manipulation. And often it doesn't come from enemies. It doesn't always wear a wicked face. Sometimes it comes from people who smile when they need something. People who know how to say all the right things when they want their way. People who say, I love you, but what they really mean is, I need you to do something for me. As the years go on, your heart softens, your patience grows deeper, and you long for peace. But that tender heart can become a target for people who see your kindness as a weakness. They use guilt like a leash. They pull on your heartstrings and call it care. They twist their words and make you feel like saying no is a sin. And before you know it, You're saying yes to things you shouldn't, doing things your body can't handle, giving what you no longer have to give. Let me say this plainly, guilt is not a love language. God does not lead his children through pressure or manipulation. Love doesn't force. Love doesn't twist your spirit into submission. Love doesn't make you feel smaller when you set boundaries. Real love listens. Real love honors. Real love accepts your no as much as your yes. But the manipulator doesn't want your well-being. They want control. They don't ask how you're doing. They ask what you can still do for them. And if you hesitate, they'll remind you of everything they've done for you in the past. They'll make you feel indebted for things you never asked for. They'll say things like, after all I've done for you, or you've changed, not because you've become unloving, but because you've stopped being available for their convenience. And let's be honest, it hurts even more when it's family. When the people you helped raise start using you like a ladder. When the ones you sacrificed for start treating you like a bank or a free caretaker or a resource to exploit. You didn't pour your life out just to be used in the end. You gave from a place of love, not because you had to, but because your heart overflowed. But love must go both ways, and if it doesn't all the giving is coming from one side, something's not right. Manipulation hides itself in good intentions. It wears the clothes of concern, but beneath it there's a hunger to control your decisions, to make you feel responsible for someone else's life. But hear me, you are not the answer to everyone's problem. That role belongs to God, not you. You are not a savior. You are not a source. You are a vessel. And you have every right to protect your peace, your energy, and your dignity in this chapter of your life. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can say is no. Not in anger, not in rebellion, but in clarity. No, I can't do that for you. No, I won't allow that in my home. No, I won't be guilted into giving again. That doesn't make you mean. That doesn't make you cold. That makes you wise. And wisdom is a gift you've earned through the fire of many years. You must understand that manipulation is not always loud. It's subtle. It creeps in through obligation. And if you've been generous all your life, it's easy to think that setting boundaries is selfish. But listen carefully, it's not selfish to protect yourself from being drained. It's not selfish to say, I've done enough and now I need rest. The Lord does not call you to carry everyone's burden alone. He said, cast your cares upon me. He never said, carry them for everybody else. If someone in your life constantly makes you feel guilty for having limits, for needing space, or for refusing to be used, that is not love, it's control. And you must avoid that spirit no matter who it comes from. Even if it's your child. Even if it's someone you've known your whole life, your peace matters more than their approval. Don't let anyone, no matter how close they are, turn your heart into their tool. You are not a puppet. You are not an ATM. You are not a caretaker of grown adults who refuse to stand on their own. You are a child of God, full of worth, full of wisdom, and full of grace. And the grace God has given you in this season is not for everyone else to misuse, it's for you. To walk in peace, to live in freedom, and to rest in dignity. So when manipulation knocks at your door wearing a familiar face, don't open it. You've earned better. One of the most painful discoveries you make in old age is realizing how many people were never really with you, just near you. Not for your heart, not for your soul, not even for your wisdom, but simply because they could get something from you. And the moment the giving stops, so does their presence. You start to notice how quiet the phone gets when you have nothing left to offer. You begin to realize how certain people only show up when they want something and disappear just as quickly when you're the one in need. There are people in your life, and it could be family, it could be friends, it could even be someone you raised, that will treat you like a vending machine. Push the right button, say the right words, and they expect something to drop into their hands. But the moment the machine is empty, the moment you stop dispensing what they want, They walk away and treat you like you never mattered. You've spent your life giving. You gave time. You gave strength. You gave money, meals, encouragement. You gave when you were tired. You gave when you had nothing left. And for years you didn't keep count. You gave out of love, out of duty, out of faith. And you expected maybe just hope that the love you gave would come back around. But now you see it clearer. Not everyone who took your love knew how to return it. And it hurts. It hurts when people you once held in your arms now treat you like an obligation. It hurts when your phone only rings when they need something. When the door only opens when they have a request. When they ask how you are but don't wait for the answer. It's not that they care about your health, your spirit, your joy. It's that they want something from your hands, not your heart. Let me speak plainly. Someone who only shows up when they want something does not belong in the inner circle of your old age. You have entered a sacred chapter, a chapter where every day is a gift and every breath is a blessing. You are not living to be used. You are not here to be needed. You are here to be honored. And if someone can't show up for your life, when there's nothing to take, they don't deserve to walk with you now. It's a hard truth, but a necessary one. Because when you allow those people to stay too close, they drain the light out of your joy. They plant seeds of resentment in your peace. They make you question your worth based on what you can still give them. But hear me, you are not defined by your ability to give. You are not a utility. You are not a spare wallet. You are not a spare parent for grown adults who refuse to take responsibility. You are a soul chosen by God and deeply valuable with or without what's in your hands. When you're younger, you try to fix it. You tell yourself they're just busy, that they'll come around. That maybe if you give a little more, they'll see you. But as you grow older, the Lord gives you the wisdom to stop chasing people who were never really there, and the peace to let them go. Because sometimes God protects you by revealing who they really are. You don't need people who only love you when you're useful. You need people who sit with you when you're silent, who call just to hear your voice, who don't need anything from you but want everything for you. And if those people are few, that's okay. Because one honest soul is better than a crowd of users. Let me say this gently, just because someone is your family doesn't mean they are faithful. Blood is a bond, but faithfulness is a choice. And when someone chooses to only come around when they want something, they have made it clear where their loyalty lies. Love them, forgive them, pray for them, but do not confuse their presence with true companionship. Real companionship stays when there's nothing left to gain. This is your time to protect what you've built, to guard your joy, to invest your remaining years into relationships that give back, not take away, into conversations that feed your soul, not drain your spirit, into people who see you not just what you can do for them. So if the phone is quiet, let it be quiet. If the room is empty, let it be empty. If they no longer come around now that you've stopped giving, let them stay gone, because it is better to be alone in truth than surrounded by people who love you only when it's convenient. There comes a time in life when the silence in the room becomes louder than the noise of a full house. You begin to hear things you ignored for years, the tone of a voice, the shift in someone's attitude, the way some folks look through you instead of at you. And perhaps one of the greatest disappointments in old age is not that your body grows tired or your hair turns gray, but that people begin to treat you like you don't matter anymore, like your words carry less weight, like your value has somehow expired because your pace is slowed. But let me tell you something with all the love in my heart. God never places an expiration date on dignity. The world may overlook you. Even your own family may begin to act like you're in the way. But in the eyes of the Lord, your value has not decreased with time. It has deepened. Your steps may be slower, but your wisdom runs deeper. Your hands may not be as strong, but the seeds they've sown are still bearing fruit, and that matters. There are people, and yes, sometimes they are family, who start to treat the elderly like furniture, present but not noticed, useful but not honored. They speak over you. They make decisions around you, not with you. They stop asking for your opinion and assume you no longer have anything meaningful to say. They assume silence means ignorance and age means irrelevance. And if you're not careful, that kind of disregard begins to creep into your spirit. It begins to make you feel invisible, like you're just passing time instead of living in it. But that is a lie from the enemy. You are not invisible. You are not disposable. You are not a burden. You are the very reason some of them even stand tall today. You are the prayer warrior that held the family together, the provider who gave without rest, the protector who stayed up at night so others could sleep in peace. You are not someone to be pushed aside now that the years have passed. You are the root that still holds the tree. You see, the danger of allowing people who disregard your dignity to stay close is that they slowly begin to affect how you see yourself. You stop speaking up. You stop asking for help. You stop expecting respect. And before long, you begin to just shrink in your own home, in your own seat, or in your own spirit. But hear me clearly, you were not made to shrink. You were made to shine, even in old age. The Bible says even in old age they will still bear fruit. Your presence carries weight. Your story holds power. Your voice still matters. If someone cannot respect you in this season of your life, if they walk past you without listening, if they dismiss your concerns, if they mock your limitations, then they are not honoring the image of God in you, and you have every right to step away from dishonor. Not in bitterness, not in revenge, but in wisdom. Because the people you keep close in old age should be those who lift you, not those who make you feel small. You don't need loud celebration. You don't need to be put on a pedestal. But you do deserve to be treated like you still matter, because you do. You deserve to be looked in the eye when spoken to. You deserve to be heard when you speak. You deserve to be invited, included, honored, respected, not tolerated. The ones who love you for real, they will still draw near. They will still ask for your stories, still listen to your wisdom, still make you feel like your life is a gift, not a burden to manage. Sometimes the people who treat you with disregard are the very ones you gave everything to. You held them through storms. You paid bills they never even knew were overdue. You prayed over them in silence. And now they act like you're just a shadow in the room. That kind of behavior is not just painful, it's dishonoring. And the Lord takes dishonor seriously. You don't have to retaliate, but you do have to protect your peace. Surround yourself with those who see your worth, not just your wrinkles. Stay close to those who honor your mind, not just pity your age. Walk with those who make space for your voice, not just for your presence. And if the room gets smaller because of that, so be it. A small room filled with respect is better than a big house full of disregard. You may be aging, but you are not fading. You may have slowed down, but you are still standing. And that is something to celebrate. So don't let anyone treat you like you don't matter. Because you do. You always have. And you always will. There is a certain kind of pain that sneaks in slowly, not with yelling, not with violence, but with manipulation. It's the kind of pain that wears a smile. It sounds like concern, but it's control. It looks like love, but it's leverage. And too often in old age, we begin to notice this quiet, clever kind of mistreatment. Sometimes it comes from the very people we've trusted the most. People who know how to use guilt like a leash. People who make you question your own decisions. People who say things like, after all I've done for you, or you owe me that much, as though love ever keeps score. You may be older, but you are not blind. You can feel it when a person twists your kindness to serve their own selfish plans. You can sense it when their praise turns into pressure. You can hear it in their words when they don't ask, they demand. When they don't serve, they scheme. And it's hard to admit, but sometimes the people who manipulate us the most are the ones we love the deepest. They know exactly which memories to mention, which stories to pull out, which buttons to press to get what they want. And instead of asking you how you feel, they decide what's best for you because it's best for them. This is not love. This is not honor. This is not the way families should treat each other. Because real love does not manipulate. It doesn't coerce. It doesn't make you feel small or guilty or ashamed for having boundaries. Love doesn't say you must. Love says you matter. Love gives. It doesn't take advantage. And any relationship, family or not, that causes confusion, heaviness, and anxiety every time you speak your mind is not a relationship built on respect. It's control dressed up like care. I want to say something to those who have spent a lifetime giving and now feel trapped by their own generosity. You are not obligated to carry people who refuse to walk on their own. You are not responsible for keeping others comfortable while you sit in quiet discomfort. And you are not wrong for drawing the line, especially when the cost of silence is your peace. Manipulation thrives in silence. It grows in spaces where guilt is used more than grace. But the moment you speak up, the moment you say no more, the power begins to shift. Not because you're fighting back, but because you're standing up. Too many people in old age are held hostage not by strangers, but by their own households. Financial manipulation, emotional blackmail, decisions made in their name, but not for their good. They are made to feel like their homes no longer belong to them. Their choices are dismissed. Their money is handled without consultation. And all of it is wrapped in the language of love. We're just helping, they say. We know what's best. But if it was truly help, it wouldn't feel like control. If it was love, it wouldn't come with strings. You deserve the dignity of choice. You deserve to be respected in your own house, in your own finances, in your own life. Just because you're older doesn't mean you've lost your mind. If anything, you've gained wisdom, the kind of wisdom the younger ones would do well to honor. But manipulation doesn't want wisdom, it wants silence. It wants you to be quiet, compliant, and convenient. But I believe God has given you this season of life to walk in truth, not to live under the weight of someone else's control. Sometimes confronting manipulation doesn't require a fight. It just requires a firm heart, a calm spirit, a decision to no longer play along. And that may mean some people walk away. That may mean some relationships grow distant. But what you lose in proximity, you gain in peace. And peace at this stage in your life is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Forgive those who have manipulated you. Yes, forgive them. But that does not mean you continue to grant them access to your mind, your time, or your resources. You can forgive someone and still say, this part of my life is no longer available to you. You can pray for them and still protect yourself. You can love them from a distance if the closeness has become a burden. Because this is your time. Your time to live without fear. Your time to speak without walking on eggshells. Your time to enjoy the days you have left in peace, not confusion. And anyone, no matter their title or their role, who cannot respect your boundaries, your decisions, and your voice has no business being in the sacred space of your old age. The years ahead of you are not meant to be lived under pressure. They are meant to be lived in peace. There is a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone, it comes from being surrounded by the wrong people. People who talk at you but never with you. People who sit at your table but never bring any bread of encouragement. People who are present in body but absent in spirit. And in old age, that kind of loneliness can feel heavier than ever. You've seen enough birthdays, you've been to enough funerals, you've given more than your fair share. So when the years pile up, you start to realize your time, your energy, your presence, they are sacred, and you can't afford to waste them on people who bring only noise, not nourishment. Some people only come around when they need something. You don't hear from them for months, sometimes years, until a favor is needed or a bill needs paying or a signature needs signing, and they know how to use just enough charm to soften the request. But once they get what they came for, they vanish like fog in the morning. You are not a bank. You are not a tool. You are a soul, created by God, worthy of connection, not convenience. There are others who come not for your money, but for your peace, and they rob it every time. They bring drama, division, and distraction. They stir up arguments, gossip about other family members, criticize your choices, or manipulate your emotions. And somehow, after spending time with them, you feel more tired than refreshed, more heavy than whole. That's not companionship, that's contamination. And if you let it linger too long, it can start to rot the very peace God intended for your latter years. Old age is not a prison sentence. It is not a slow fade into irrelevance. It is a divine season of reflection, of clarity, of purpose. This is not the time to be surrounded by chaos. This is not the time to be tolerating relationships that drain you. You don't need anyone around you who treats your presence as ordinary. You need people who still look you in the eye when you speak. People who lean in when you tell your stories. People who remember not just what you've done, but who you are. Let me tell you something, and I want you to hear this with your whole heart. You are allowed to be selective with your circle. You are allowed to choose peace over proximity. You are allowed to step away from people, even family, if their presence brings confusion, pain, or disrespect. That doesn't mean you hate them. That doesn't mean you're bitter. It means you finally understood that the company you keep will either bless your days or burden them. You don't need to be surrounded by many. You need to be surrounded by real love, real honor, real understanding. One friend who checks in on you, who listens to you, who prays with you, that is more valuable than 10 relatives who only show up to take. Don't confuse frequency with faithfulness. Some people are always around, but they're never really with you. And some people check in quietly, faithfully, even from a distance, and their love speaks louder than those who are physically near but spiritually absent. You've carried generations on your back. You've walked through valleys others don't even know about. You have survived heartbreak, betrayal, loss, and grief. You have kept going when others would have quit. And now that you've reached this stage of life, you deserve to be surrounded by those who value the depth of your spirit, not just the convenience of your presence. It's okay to create distance. It's okay to protect your energy. It's okay to say, I love you, but I can't let you steal my peace anymore. That kind of decision is not selfish, it's stewardship. God has entrusted you with time. Time to rest, time to reflect, time to worship without interruption, time to enjoy the beauty of simple things. Don't let people who don't understand your journey interrupt that peace. Even Jesus, when he walked this earth, didn't surround himself with everyone. He chose a small circle. And when he needed peace, he withdrew from the crowd. If the Son of God made room for stillness, why do we feel guilty for doing the same? Especially in this season when every day is a gift, every breath a blessing, every moment an opportunity to thank God, not to waste time explaining your worth to people who refuse to see it. Let them call you distant. Let them say you've changed. Let them misunderstand. You don't owe anyone access to your peace just because they share your blood. You owe God your obedience, your joy, your gratitude, and sometimes that means protecting what He's given you by stepping back from those who don't treat it with care. You are not difficult. You are not selfish. You are simply no longer willing to trade your peace for their presence. And that, my friend, is the wisdom of a soul that has lived long enough to know what truly matters.